What's up, guys? It's the Sound Alchemist here with
Gersh1.
And we're back at it again to answer your questions in another installment of For the Greater.
This is a series where we answer the questions left by you, the viewer. If you want to ask us a question, comment in the comment section below. Put question in front of your question because we get to those first. And you can ask us about anything. It doesn't necessarily have to be about Warhammer 40k. But if Farut Onzola did ask something about Warhammer 40k, he says, which chapter would you recommend starting? He gave us two options, Iron Hands or Death Watch.
Based on those two, I would say the Death Watch. Why? Because the Iron Hands don't really have a codex specific, theme to them. They're in the regular Space Marine ones, but there's not too much basically customization. They're basically vanilla Marines with just a little bit of flavor added to them.
Sprinkles.
Like 2 or 3 sprinkles.
Metallic sprinkles.
Mm-hmm.
But then, I agree. But then it opens it up to what Space Marine chapter is the best Space Marine chapter to start if you're just starting off with Warhammer 40k, or if you're just starting with Space Marines in general. You might have been playing another army for a while.
Right.
Number one, I think, play what you think looks cool.
That's right. Play an army you know you'll have fun with. Don't play it just because it's the best in the meta right now, or because, I always liked this Primarch, but I hated everything else about him. Play something that you know you'll like, you'll enjoy, you'll keep on collecting years and years to come.
Yep. But with that said, there is a little breakdown in terms of all the Space Marine chapters. So you have the Codex chapters, which are Space Wolves, which would be really good for close combat. So go to that if you want close combat. And since 8th edition is starting to look like it's going to be more in favor of close combat, maybe that's a good choice. Dark Angels are really good for their speed, right?
Right, if you go with the Raven Wing. Or even the Death Wing, you've got Terminators that can just, deep strike.
Mm-hmm. And then Blood Angels, what are they good for?
They're also kind of close combat orientated. Not as much as the Space Wolves, but they kind of move towards that aspect.
Yep. And then you have the Ultramarines or the Vanilla Marines,
right,
which I think my best recommendation is start your own chapter and use whatever special character, or what are they called? Like if you're an Imperial Fist player, you have this doctrine.
Oh,
is it doctrines? I think they're called doctrines.
Combat doctrines, I believe.
Yeah, so you could choose
chapter tactics.
Chapter tactics. There you go. If you get like your own, you create your own Space Marine chapter, you get to choose the chapter tactics that you want to. So, right. Yeah, it's a tough decision, but at the end of the day, do what you want to do.
Right. And also, why not try proxying? That way you don't have to, go ahead and spend the money and buy like, oh, I want to get a Vindicator and I want to get a Razorback. Just get a Rhino. You're most likely than not going to use Rhinos and just say, okay, this one's a Vindicator, this is a Whirlwind. Boom.
Yeah. Whatever you do, though, don't play with pieces of paper and proxy them as models.
Yeah, we had a guy, he played Space Wolves. He didn't have any models, so he just literally cut up pieces of paper, not even perfect circles, just ripped pieces of papers and wrote wolf.
Yeah, that's pretty stupid. He doesn't play with us anymore.
We don't even talk to the guy.
Yeah, next question.
This one is by Ethan Warner. If you could add another gene seed organ, what would it do and what would it be called?
A third foot, or it would be called the third foot, and you know what it would be.
Oh.
That way it answers the question of, can Space Marines reproduce? Yes, they can, because of the gene seed of the third foot.
That's right. I would give them something along those lines called the egg sac. And this genetic implantation would be used in conjunction with the third foot to make them reproduce.
Mm-hmm.
Kind of like a venom cannon, but
with sperm.
Mm-hmm.
Lug asked the questions. How did you guys get into Warhammer 40k?
We opened the door and we were inside.
Basically. Next question.
This one's by Exton Meyer. What do you guys think about the new Rick and Morty Season 3 Episode 1 episode?
It blew my mind! I never thought that they were going to take it in that direction. So basically, if you don't know, which you don't know, Rick got captured. He was in this intergalactic jail, but it turned out to be... well, I don't want to spoil it for you, but it blew my mind. Really good. And it feeds into the idea, there's been a lot of other videos on this, but it feeds into the idea that Morty is going to be Rick.
Interesting.
Yes.
My thoughts on that episode was I was looking forward to Samurai Jack, and they're like, nope, new Rick and Morty. I'm like, oh, okay.
Alright. DSan805. Do Astartes any chapter? Wear boxers, briefs, or do they freeball it because they have no balls? They freeball it because they have no balls.
Yep.
But if those gene seeds come in.
Whoa.
Next question.
All Might. Would you guys want a box set or something like that that mixes zombies and 40k? Nurgle's plagues already cause zombification, so why isn't GW going ahead with this? After all, zombies are popular nowadays.
I think they're dying out now. I don't think they were as big as when, like...
yeah, like a few years back.
What was it? What's it called? The zombie movie or show?
Oh, Walking Dead.
Yeah, I don't think they're as big as when Walking Dead first came out. But yeah, sure, why not throw out a box set for Nurgle Marines or Nurgle box set?
Right.
I won't buy it because I don't like painting small holes, but you know, whatever. The Camel says, you agree?
Yeah.
Small holes bad?
Small holes are bad. We need at least 6mm holes. Or is that still too small?
Too small.
Oh.
It depends on, never mind. The Camel, how many hits does it take from a Dark Eldar whip to get to the center of a Dark Eldar slave? You've asked that before and we gave you an answer, so you know the answer.
1, 2, 3, crunch. They're dead.
Yeah.
Cultist. Why is the Pokemon Tyranitar not a dragon type? Man, you're asking the questions. You are asking the questions right now. It's the same reason why Charizard isn't a dragon type. They want to F with you.
Byron Brown. Do you guys watch any anime? If so, do you think... Or if so, can you think of a character who would stand a chance at beating Gilliman in a fight? Samurai Jack.
Gilliman.
Goku. For sure Goku.
Yeah, Goku can take on Gilliman without a doubt.
Jin from Samurai Champloo.
Saitama, One Punch Man. Can take on the whole universe.
Yep. Next question.
Jack Herrera. Can you guys dedicate some videos on the ships and fleets available to each race? I'm already looking forward to the Necrons.
For sure. We sure can. We will at some point. Next question comes from Jorn von Horn. If an orc would have a penis, would it grow over time, growing bigger and harder like the rest of orc body does when he is fighting and crushing his foes? Well, if you think about it, the penis is a muscle, and yes. The answer is yes.
I'm already imagining like a huge orc with like a little sliver of tiny one. It's like it doesn't grow big, he's big.
Yeah, there you go.
That's why they get really huge claws to compensate. I just went to full screen and I lost it.
Axel Alexson. Why are the Kroot nearly useless on the table and so awesome surrounding in their own lore?
Same reason about the Tyranids. Tyranids are like the major threat and they suck in the tabletop.
Right, because they're close combat oriented. And I don't think that many people bought Kroot things because like the Krootox and the other one are out, right? They don't sell them anymore?
Right, I think they're like metal or pewter. And pewter is metal.
Which means that people must not be buying them. But back in the day, you could start your own Kroot army.
There was a Kroot Codex, right?
Yep.
Billy Davis III. Would you guys like to see Games Workshop confirm a Mayan/Aztec or Incan themed new army akin to Lizardmen or the Blood Jaguars?
Not really. No. Just because you're in the future. And why would you have like a tribal type of thing like that?
Because it's cool and it sells. I think so. I'd say go ahead, GW.
I mean, you could do it, GW. I'm not saying you can't. I'm just saying, how does that make any sense when lizardmen are walking around in space? I don't know. It doesn't make sense.
Lizards in space? What?
Yeah. Uncertified Jack. I know you love these questions. Stormtrooper versus Imperial Guard. You guys are great. Thank you. So what's your opinion?
So originally I said Imperial Guard because they're basically, I feel like they have a better aim, even though they got like light, like literally flashlights for guns.
I'm Stormtroopers just because a Stormtrooper could beat a rebel. He could beat a Imperial Guardsman.
Touche, touche.
Next question.
Run, Azael, run. Both tabletop and lore-wise, who would win in a fight? 30k versus 40k Papa Smurf, and why?
30k, because 30k just tabletop aren't they tougher?
Right. Yeah. Basically, it's during the Great Crusade, so they're battle hardened. They're doing this for the Emperor. Now in 40k, Gilliman just got basically revived. And he's like, oh, what the hell's going on? Like, yeah, he's still a beast in combat, but I don't think he's as much of a beast as he was back then.
Right. Next question.
This one's by Ethan Warner. Have you ever heard of Worldbreaker Hulk? It's just what it is. He cracked the North American plate, so he can beat Gaskell. That's not a question, man.
Next question comes from Uncertified Jack once again. Tell me if I'm wrong, but isn't the window behind you the way to the Imperial Palace? Through the Emperor's broken webway portal. I know that would make you demons, but yeah, I don't judge.
Well, you said, tell me if I'm wrong, so you're wrong.
There you go. Next question.
Julian Shuakaiza. Why the hell isn't Failbadon a demon prince yet? I get it, we talked about him being ascended to demonhood some time ago, but damn, this dude has been there for literally 10,000 years. Like, seriously, he's losing and winning, but all he does for chaos is nothing. Why isn't he a demon prince yet? What is all about this will of the chaos undivided? And do not butcher my name next time, please. Sorry I butchered it. Maimed it, and I diced and sliced it.
Yeah, so the reason that he's not a demon, though, is because they've been holding off on it. They want to bring him into demonhood. How did we say? There's a way that he becomes a demon that makes sense towards the lore.
I think we talked about this, didn't we?
Yeah, we did. I can't remember, but hold tight. Everything's gonna be all right. Oh, because they're gonna come out with a new Abaddon model, because the old Abaddon model was like, but they're gonna come out with a new one when he reaches demonhood.
Right.
That's what it was.
Yep, that makes sense. I remember that now.
Sir Matthew's awesome. What's the best way to pick up a Tau Babe?
Usually the best way to pick anything up is with your arms.
And he's not talking about these two.
Oh.
Alright.
Just say, you want to see my greater good?
My grills. My grills. You want to see my what?
Yo, grill. Leave me alone, you prick. If you could be any flavor of ice cream, what flavor would you be?
Mint.
Strawberry.
Because I want it to feel like you're brushing your teeth. Next. Go.
Yeah, mint.
Space 3010, Game Master. Is school a more living hell in real life, or is it more of a hell in Warhammer 40k? I'm pretty sure school in Warhammer 40k would not be the school that it is today. School in Warhammer 40k is basically just a military academy.
Right.
Or in other words, a waiting room until you die out in the field fighting superhuman chaos-possessed beings.
Mm-hmm. Basically an anime.
Yeah.
This one's by... there it is. Wigstern Kenzie. Why have the Imperium of Man made no significant technological advancements in 10,000 years?
there's many layers to this. The first layer is that at first this technology was suppressed by the people, or the engineers, I guess you could say, the people that knew how the machines worked. They didn't want to give that away because power is knowledge. Slowly that started evolving to the point where people personified machines, gave it a machine spirit, and it got wrapped up into a lore, and the actual functionality of a machine was lost. Kind of like if all engineers, like if there's a huge catastrophe, right? Something bad happened to the human race, in terms of them dying but the world not destroying, so like a bacteria or a plague or something like that, the survivors would more than likely not be able to maintain the same type of technological advancement that we do now, because the survivors would not be enough to know everything. We wouldn't know how trains work. We wouldn't know how doctors cure certain diseases that are easily curable, you know?
It's like, oh, we know, you know, penicillin cures this, but how much?
Right.
And when and where? So
Yeah.
there's a bunch of little intricacies like that.
Hope that makes sense.
Mm-hmm.
Last question.
This last one is by Axel Alexson. Why are the... Oh, wait, we already read that one. Shoot.
What more than...
Alright. Bjorn von Horn. If an orc would have a penis... Well, like, we read that one already. We're reading the same one.
Let's see, I got one from... Oh, no, he's gone. There it is. Billy Davis. Could the old ones return with the Lizardmen army?
Whew.
That plays into the thing where, like... Oh, you know what would be really badass if the Lizardmen came... Or not the... Yeah, no, the old ones came back. Not with Lizardmen, but they came back with an army from Warhammer Fantasy. Because it turned out that Warhammer Fantasy, they were able to access that universe through the warp. Something badass like that. But honestly, do I think the old ones are going to ever come back? No.
They're too old. You can't make old new again.
Right. And those were the questions for this week.
As always, leave your questions in the comment section below, and we'll answer them next week.
This was Gersh1.
Sound Alchemist, signing out.